Hello, welcome to African Chess Lounge videos. In this particular video, we're going to be looking at a game, basically from the middle game onwards, and seeing how basic principles can be applied in a master game to bring about a desirable result. Okay, so we won't stress much about the opening. We'll take the game from move 12, and in this position white just played rook d1, and it's black to play, and black played the move knight a6. This move violates a principle that knights should be ideally placed in the center. That's where they have the most influence. If you remember, in our treasure map document, which will attach to this video, you should always position a knight on a protected square in the middle of the board that cannot be attacked easily by pawns. A knight on the edge is never a good idea usually, unless you're a master and you know what you're doing in that case. But a basic principle worth following is that position a knight on a protected square in the middle of the board that cannot be attacked by a pawn. White played b3, basically making way for his bishop on c1 to develop either on b2 or on a3. Black continued bishop e4, making his bishop short on the diagonal, and white played bishop a3, basically accomplishing one of the main opening aims, which is connecting the rooks. Rook c8 was played by black, and after rook ac1, this is a principle of the middle game. Centralize and coordinate your pieces. This is when tactical opportunities begin to materialize. I remember one thing I learned when I was fairly older about coordination is that if you want your pieces to coordinate, which means to work together, you should always aim at attacking the same thing. Get them to attack one thing and they'll start automatically to coordinate. Look at c1, centralizes the pieces. If you look, white is much more prepared in this position than black is. Okay, black starts opening the position, and I think this is not a correct move, or in principle it's not a good move. His idea is to try and exploit tactics in the position, but his pieces are not so well placed to deal with the resulting complications. Okay, white continues. This is a beautiful move. It looks simple, but if you look before the knight goes to e5, this bishop, black's bishop here, is much stronger than white's bishop, because white's bishop is sitting behind the knight. So with this move, white implements a basic principle, which in our list is, I think, number 4. When you have a bad or inactive piece, exchange it. So he is exchanging his inactive piece for a much more active piece. Black doesn't really have a choice. He has to take. take. Queen c7. Removes the queen out of this diagonal of this bishop over here, and puts the queen on a more active square, attacking a sensitive square on f7. If you look, there's already 2 pieces attacking. Knight move. Now white takes advantage of the fact that the black knight cannot take on d4, because now he can take on f7, causing an healthy exposure of the king. So when black plays knight f5, white simply chases him away, because now after knight h6, you have a scenario where both knights, one on a6 and one on h6, are placed at the edge of the board. This is not an optimum position at all. Simple idea. He wants to chase away the knight from the protection of the key sensitive square, which is f7. So black has to try something extreme, f6. This now, because he's made other violations, leads him to another violation, which is don't make unnecessary pawn moves in front of your king. If you look at your treasure map, this is one basic principle. I think principle number 10. Don't make unnecessary pawn moves in front of your king. It weakens your king position and invites checkmates. You don't want that. He just simply goes back, knowing that he has created a weakness, and he is prepared to even sacrifice a pawn for this. But it's not really, because there's another tactical shot. Let's say, for instance, you take, then suddenly you have a problem, and when the queen moves, one of the rooks fall. So knight d3 is a clever move. Okay, as if taking exposing your king was not enough, his idea is to take on d4 with a bishop, but after take here, white's position is much better than black's, and the king's cover is completely being destroyed here. So he plays e5 and gives this square to the white knight, and now it's really difficult to suggest a move for black. He played queen d8, and pawn takes threatens a new threat, which is obviously knight check, collecting the rook. So he's got no time to recapture the pawn. He has to bring the rook to defense, and now king g1, making space for the rooks to come into the attack. And yes, now white implements one of the middle game principles: rooks mount an open file. If you have rooks, you need to place them on open files, and now the rook on g1 is exchanged so that another rook comes into the open file. Here with knight c7, black is trying to implement the idea that if you have a bad piece, you want to exchange it for a strong piece. In this position, the knight was a bad piece, and after knight c7, white doesn't even bother because the king is exposed, so he starts putting attention on the king, and after knight d5 he highlights the fact that the king is not so well placed, and after this, check, this is all forcing, check. Here black resigned, he's losing a queen, and that was the game. I hope you've learned a few things in this example or analyze game, and you start implementing them in your own game. Thank you.